My name is Clara. I am 28 years old. I woke up early and my phone was full of messages from my mother. She wrote, "Remember the big party tomorrow. Many people will be there. Be ready." I stared at the message and felt a familiar weight in my chest. Every time there was a party, it was the same story: rich guests, fake smiles, and endless talk about business. My parents had money, hotels, and power. But what they did not have was peace. They believed money could build happiness. I never agreed with that. They wanted me to marry a rich man named Ethan. They said he was perfect. But I didn't even like him. He talked only about himself and his money. My parents said it was a great opportunity. They said Ethan would take care of me and make me happy. But I wanted something simple. I wanted love that was real, someone who listened, someone who stayed when life became hard. But my parents didn't understand that. They just said, "You will thank us later." I felt angry and sad. Then a wild idea came to me. If they wanted to control my life, maybe this time I could surprise them. I needed someone to help me. I walked to the small park near my house. A man was sitting near the fountain. His clothes were old and dusty. He looked poor but calm. He wasn't asking for money. I walked closer. My heart beat fast, but I wasn't afraid. I felt curious. Maybe he could help me. I took a deep breath and said, "Excuse me, I need your help tomorrow night. Please listen to me." He looked surprised. He said nothing. Then I said, "I will pay you if you pretend to be my boyfriend tomorrow." He smiled slightly. "You're serious, aren't you?" "I am," I said. "Just one night. One party." He stopped smiling. Then he said, "You want me to pretend to be your boyfriend? But why me?" I smiled. "Because you don't belong to my world." He thought for a moment, then nodded. "Okay, if you're sure, I can do it." I couldn't believe he said yes. I thanked him and told him the time, the place, and what he needed to do. The next day, I sent my driver to bring him to my house. When he arrived, my staff looked shocked. "Who is that man?" They whispered. "He is my guest," I said. "Please help him." Haircut, clean clothes, everything. They followed my orders, but I could see confusion in their eyes. They probably thought I had lost my mind, but for the first time, I felt calm. At 7 o'clock, I heard a knock on my door. I opened it and almost didn't recognize him. He looked completely different. He smiled and said, "Is this good enough for a fake boyfriend?" I laughed. "It's perfect." We drove to the party together. I felt safe beside him. When we arrived, the music stopped. My parents looked shocked. Ethan, the rich man, looked angry and confused. My mother asked coldly, "Clara, who is this man?" I said, "He is my boyfriend. His name is Adrian." Adrian shook my father's hand and said, "Nice to meet you." My father said nothing. He just stared with cold eyes. Ethan came closer and said, "So this is your boyfriend? He looks different from your usual friends." I was ready to speak, but Adrian spoke first. "Maybe I don't have money," he said, "but I have respect." The room went silent. Ethan's fake smile disappeared. My parents froze. Then my father said, "Dinner is ready. Let's sit." We walked to the long table. My parents stayed silent. Adrian sat beside me, calm, respectful. I watched him and felt peaceful. But then Ethan walked to our table again. His face was red with anger. He said, "You think this poor man can replace me? You're making a fool of yourself, Clara." Adrian stayed calm. "I'm not trying to replace anyone." My father suddenly said, "Enough, Clara. Come with me." We walked to the garden, away from the guests. His voice was low and sharp. "This game ends tonight. You will not embarrass this family again." My hands shook, but I didn't look away. "This is not a game, Father. I just want to live my own life." He looked stunned. I had never spoken to him like that. Then Adrian appeared behind us. "Sir," he said quietly, "please let her speak." My father's face turned red. "You don't belong here." Adrian said, "Maybe not, but tonight I was invited by your daughter." My father turned and walked away without another word. I turned to Adrian. "Thank you. You didn't have to do that." He looked at me seriously. "There's something you don't know about me." I stopped breathing for a second. I wasn't always poor, Clara. My life was very different before. I frowned. "What do you mean?" "I used to have everything. A company, a big house, cars. But I left all of it 1 year ago. I wanted to see real life. I couldn't believe it." "Why would you do that? Why live like this?" "Because I wanted to understand people," he said. "When you met me, you didn't ask who I was. You just talked. That's why I helped you." "So who are you really?" I asked. "My real name is Julian Carter," he said. "My family owns one of the biggest companies in the city." I covered my mouth in shock. "You're Julian Carter?" He nodded. "Yes. But for 1 year, I lived without money or name. I wanted to know if someone could care about me for who I am, not for what I have." My eyes filled with tears. "So all this time, you were testing me?" He shook his head. "No, I was testing myself. You were the first person who really saw me. I'm not asking you to love me. I just wanted you to know." My heart jumped. Then suddenly, I heard my father calling from the house. "Clara, come back inside," Julian said softly. "Go. I'll wait for you." I walked back to the house. My father was furious. He shouted, "You will never see that man again." I stood still and said, "Father, please listen. You are wrong." "Wrong? You don't know that man. He has nothing." "Maybe he has no money," I said, "but he has honesty. I don't need a rich husband. I need someone who respects me." Then I turned and walked toward the garden again. Julian was still there, waiting, like he promised. When he saw me, he smiled. I asked, "Julian, will you stay or go back to your old life?" He took my hand. "Maybe I can do both." We walked away from the house together. He said, "You found me when I was nobody." I smiled. "And you helped me find myself. Love is not about money or names. It is about truth and freedom. Never be afraid to follow your heart. What would you do if your heart says yes, but your family says no?" Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and share it with friends who are also learning English. Your support helps me bring more stories for you. See you in the next one.